Damn it.
Hey everybody, so welcome back. As always, I'm Chris. So today I'm going to be making a main shaft socket to take the nut off the main shaft so we can fix our oil leak. So as you see, it is still leaking from our transmission. There's a big puddle back there, and I don't have the socket to take the nut off. And rather than spending $40, $50, we're going to go the difficult way and spend the same amount of money and more effort because, why go the easy way? Why not make my life more difficult? It's what I do. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to do a little project to where we are going to take this socket and extend it with this piece of pipe to make it long enough to be able to use on the transmission. Yeah, so we'll see how this goes. Yeah. So first thing we got to do is cut this. All right, so we got to cut it here, and then we're going to cut these threads off each end because those will be weak points, right? So those are rolled into the material. So we want the most thickness we can get. So we're going to cut this thing apart and we're going to ruin our $20 socket because, that's what we got to do. Then we'll cut this thing and we'll fit it together and hopefully it will work. So fingers crossed here. We'll see what happens. So first thing we got to do, you see I've already done here, is we got to put a straight mark on our pipe to be able to cut these threads off in our porta band. So how I went about doing this, and I've done this a bunch of times, is if you hold the pen, all right, and then you hold your marker, all right, hold that steady wherever, and then you turn your piece against it. Then it uses the table as the reference, so this will be a straight line that goes all the way around. That way you don't have to mess around with trying to figure out how to get a straight line around this using a square or whatever. I've used a square a bunch of times. That does work, but this is definitely a lot easier. So we'll cut those off. Our socket here, I'm probably just going to use this line here and cut it. Yeah, let's get to it. All right, guys, so I've saved you all from a lot of boredom, but basically what I did was cut this down, cut that socket apart. I ended up using my angle grinder with the cutoff wheel. Then I took the pipe, I took both pieces and stuck them in the lathe, faced them off to where they were straight and square, and then I put a little recess in here. Can't really see it, but I put a little lip on this side and on this side to locate this pipe, so that way it's easier for me to line it up. A little less work, but it's tacked together. Everything's looks like it's pretty square, amazingly enough. The tooling on the lathe really did not like the hardened steel, but it cut it, and it looks like it will work. Quite a bit longer than we actually need, but that's fine. So next thing is weld it all up. So tomorrow I will weld this thing up and we will get that sprocket off. As you see, I have everything torn apart, and you can see that there's definitely oil and shit in here. So there's definitely some crud, and you can see where it's been dripping down here on the frame. So tomorrow we will tear this off and see what the hell we find. Hopefully it's nothing too crazy. But yeah, we'll see. So yeah. So there we have our essentially home built long socket for that main shaft nut for the sprocket. So the top, well, I'm pretty happy with. It filled in that fillet really nice. The bottom has a little bit undercut because it was way down in there. So I'm gonna let this thing cool off, and then I'm gonna do another pass down here on the bottom to fill that fillet in. But it's pretty hot right now, so we'll let this thing fully cool off, and then we'll do another pass down there, and then this thing will be done. All right, so our modified socket turned out all right. We got it fully welded. She's cooled down. The bottom welds, I tried to do a little weave. Honestly, I've never done a weave on a round part, and as you can see, yeah, they need some work. This one looks really nice and wet and sweated in. Some other ones are good. And this is the original root pass. I left that one because it's nice. And this thing was getting hot and I was getting irritated, so I've learned that's the best time to stop, is when you're pissed off. So otherwise it's going to go downhill. So let's see if it holds. Our 3/4 here. Remember, these are left-hand thread. So let's see if our socket holds up. I should have left the chain on. Yeah, let's... It is loose. There we go. All that shit coming out of it from where it was burned the zinc off. But she held up beautifully. Took it right off. Definitely gotta clean that. So, looks like there's that. There's our lock plate. As you can see, we have a bunch of oil behind here. So, I think we found our problem. Looks like this seal was sealing. This one was fine because there wasn't any oil out here, but behind it, it's definitely some shit going on. Look at all that oil behind there. So, yeah, that's a 24 tooth sprocket, so that's probably part of the reason why. Well, I don't know. We might put a bigger sprocket on it, but I'd say this is our problem. That's definitely where our leak's coming from, though. There's a bunch of fucking oil behind there. So maybe this one's okay, but there's an inner one maybe. I don't know. Something's going on because it's a bunch of oil back there, and that's not supposed to be there. So it looks like there's an O-ring back here. I would think this O-ring would go on the back side of your pull or your sprocket. Maybe not. I don't know. I need to get in the book, see exactly where this needs to go, because I don't know why you would have an O-ring on the front, because this should seal that front side of that shaft, but we have a sprocket and shit in here, so I'm going with there's an O-ring or something missing here, and that's what's causing our problems. Not necessarily this main shaft, but we'll get in the schematics and figure it out. Well, so I had to take the seal off, and I think I found our problem. This cork is what goes behind here and seals this outer part to keep it from running back here. So as you can see, it's cupped. This is what it's supposed to look like. This one's flat. This is a new one. But this one's cupped at the. This was at the bottom. So oil was running down past that lip up over the top and creating all of our fucking issues. So hopefully that will fix it. This is also our new seal. This thing's beefy. So this is the seal that was in there. As you see, it's single-sided and whatnot. I mean, I'm sure it did fine. It didn't leak from there, but this thing is pretty robust. It's a James set. Anyway, so we'll get everything back together and hopefully we don't have any more problems. Alright, so we have our new seal in. So apparently this is the updated version with the double-sided one. It doesn't use the cork. So we got that in there. We got our little alignment tab thing in here for our spacer. That also was not in here. So yeah, lots of things going on here. Got our 24 tooth sprocket here. May upgrade this. Apparently some people run a 26, I guess, to get more better highway gearing, but honestly I don't see us really riding this thing on the highway very much, so we'll probably just stick with what we got, at least for now anyway. Trying to get this on without pushing this spacer in, or without pushing this main shaft in. So otherwise that key likes to just want to fall off. There we go. One other thing I noticed when I took this thing apart, there's an O-ring behind this part. It looks like it goes in this. Yeah, it looks like it goes in here. That makes more sense. Yeah, there we go. We got that O-ring in there. I might have to put a new one from the kit in here because I don't really want to see it stay. But yeah, I'll get this all put back together and hopefully it fucking seals. So honestly, I'm tired of dealing with it. Chain back through here, that way we have some tension and whatnot. tighten it with this. I'm not going to run it down with this. Just get her snug, and then we'll torque it. Try to torque it. Well, camera died, so didn't get any footage of finishing up the clutch, but as you see, it's all together. And if you want to see it go back together, you can watch the other video, which does have it. Putting those 53 something roller bearings in there. But yeah, we'll see what happens tomorrow. I did back it out, start it, and check out the clutch. It did seem to grab a little bit smoother, and whatnot. So I don't know what was going on inside, but maybe I had something off or whatever. I don't know, but hopefully our seal works. We have the updated seal that came in the James Gaskets kits, so we don't run the cork seal behind that. I don't know what went on with the old seal. It may not have been driven in far enough because it was flush with the case, and I could move that spacer back and forth quite a bit, so that may have been causing it. It may have been like sliding past the gasket or something, past the seal. I don't know, but we drove home that new one and got her all back together finally. So we'll see tomorrow. I'm gonna ride tomorrow, hopefully. Hopefully the weather doesn't suck, but I'm gonna try to ride to work, and we'll look for any puddles. So our janky homemade socket, well, extended socket, worked out awesome. Granted, we probably have 40 bucks in this thing. By the time we bought the socket, the pipe, and this adapter and stuff, we probably have 40 bucks in it, you know, and then some time. But it was fun to make. The lathe did not like turning it, but you know, it is what it is. It is hardened steel. So yeah, so for something I'm probably only going to use a few times. Now if I had like a shop that was doing a bunch of these, of course I would probably invest in a proper tool, but actually in reality I would keep using this thing until it died, and then I would buy a new one and spend like $100 bucks. But yeah, that'll do it for now. Hopefully we figured out some oil leaks here. Hopefully you all weren't shaking your heads too bad at what I had going on. I did actually torque the sprocket nut and the basket nut with a torque wrench. I didn't run it on, or I didn't tighten it down with the impact. I know the last thing you all probably saw was me putting that impact on the sprocket nut, but that was simply to pull it in. I did actually torque it properly, so don't get your panties all in the wad. So it was done properly. So yeah, I think that's gonna do it for tonight, and stay tuned. I'm sure we're gonna have more crap to upload on the channel. So thanks for watching.